Welcome in to episode 11 of our Let's Play Ara History Untold series, where we are learning the game, unpacking the strategies, and checking out how all of the different mechanics work. We are on turn 98. We will cross the 100 threshold during this episode today and see what the game has in store for us. Additionally, every episode prior to this has been on patch 1.1, the Invisible Hand update, which has been wonderful. However, we are now, as of this episode, and was a little bit ahead on recording, so now we are on patch 1.2, and that means large changes have come to the game of Ara History Untold. Primarily, these were all balance changes, and when I tell you that patch 1.2 had a ton of balance changes, I am not kidding. There was a ton of balance changes. They changed leaders. They added a new leader. Confucius is now in the game. They edited leaders across the board. They edited how some of the traits worked. They changed how buildings work, how city cap works. They changed a ton of different things in the game for patch 1.2. Now, for us, none of those balance changes will impact our game, because none of the balance changes change existing save files. We do have some of the nice little UI improvements added to our game. All save files got the UI improvements and different adjustments in that nature. So we will get to take a look at some of that. And one of the biggest changes they made is they nerfed Benito Juarez. They changed his unique trait of getting an expert early in cities. And let's be honest, it was completely OP and needed to be changed. The change is now a housing based for government buildings. I actually don't mind the change. It definitely makes him play very different and not the same as what we're doing here. So we get to keep playing OP Benito Juarez. Everything from here on out will have that balance change and that patch change that's been applied to it. So with all of that said, let's jump into the game and see where our History Untold takes us today. Well, we're not here in our capital. We're looking at our scout. This is one of the changes, in fact. All units and scouts and some other things are getting like little adjustments to their character portraits and to how they look in game and stuff like that. I don't know if that happened in this patch or if it was a planned thing, but they have started talking about things like that, making the cultures, the nations in the game feel a little bit more unique. So that's one thing that we can mention. And here is our capital city of Mexico City. And we are cranking out a settler currently. Why is that? Because we're at 5 of 6 on that. And we need to go and settle up here. And why do we have to settle up here? Well, we have absolutely 0 iron in our entire empire. Nor is there any iron within any stretch of the means of any of our cities. And so we essentially need to come up here and settle just to get iron. Iron is obviously a critical material in the game. We definitely need this as a resource. We're gonna need it for a billion different things to progress the game. It's actually the fact that we don't have it right now and aren't able to get it up and running right away as soon as we enter the Iron Age is, in my opinion, problematic. So we rushed the settler. We're going to try to get the settler up there as fast as possible. Yes, it's a weird settle, like out in the middle of everything. We're just going for it at this point. We need the iron, so we're going to go and do that, and we'll just see what happens, essentially. We are at peace with India now, and so Benito Juarez likes that, right? We have the trait where we get +10 happiness and +10 prosperity in all of our cities when we are at peace. So we spent the last however many turns when we were at war not getting those bonuses, and so our Golden Age progress slowed substantially. Our cities slowed down because we had less production because of the happiness and less prosperity, so our gold also slowed down there as well. So lots of like bad things happen when you have that trait where you want to not be at war, and we were at war. So that's the same trait that Italy has, so not too worried about war with Italy. I feel like if the AI plays the way it should play, that he shouldn't want war either. One of the other big changes that I'm hoping that we'll see immediately on pressing next turn is that the AI has been retuned And that retuning does occur in save game files. What you'll notice is something that I've complained about before, is that the AI will now give you gifts. Before, the maintenance of relationships was 100% on the player to maintain those relationships. The AI will now actually send you gifts, and what I have found is they actually send ridiculously valuable gifts, because when they send gifts, they want to send the ones that boost up their numbers by the most. So like, I've been getting gifted metal tools in my other games and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's a nice change. I really think that was important for the game for them to do that. Let's jump in, we'll press that next turn button, and we will see how things progress. Okay. Region claimed. We have expanded out. Well, you'll remember our city of New Coahuila is off and running. We're gonna, I don't know if we try to claim down to the grapes. I think we try to go back up again to get the horses, because I think we're at risk of you know, I don't know. I think we need to, we'll claim back up again, and we'll probably grab this. We're reestablishing what was a level 5 city. We're trying to rebuild it after India burnt it down, right? We also burnt down their city. It was only a level 3 city, but we're prepared to, when that 20-turn peacetime ends, might go to war again. In fact, we know we're going to go to war again. My preference would be, we might take both the cities. I don't know. We'll see. I might take both of them potentially. Delhi is such a big city that it would be a real shame to burn it down. I feel like we should probably just take it and then just recraft it the way we want it to be. And Meerut, I think Meerut has their palace. I think. I'm still not convinced what this building is. I think that this is a palace. May just be like their gathering hall or something like that. It might actually just be their gathering hall, to be honest. The more I look at it, the more I don't see. This is their city center. This must be what their gathering hall has upgraded to. So they may not have even built a palace yet, based on what I'm seeing. Picked up a cache. 15 food, 2 syrup, and 1 food oil. It's not a bad cache. And we got a new dwelling that has been complete. Wedge Force is healed and is continuing to heal. So we got both wedges. One wedge is fully healed. The other is ready to go. Our spearman only lost 15 health on that cougar hunt, so he is off and running. Getting his hunts in, and we have some idle units. Okay, we know we're gonna send this guy way up here and hope that Italy doesn't settle here. Here's one thing they did not do, and I cannot state how much Oxide needs to put in a zone viewer into the game outside of Settle View. I am actually kind of flabbergasted that change was not implemented in the latest patch, in the 1.2 patch. I'm kind of shocked, to be honest. You still cannot, unless you have a settler and city cap, see how many zones are in a region. It's such a simple solution. When you're in the region view, this view right here, when you hover over a region, just tell me how many zones are in the region. Literally, it's in the game already. The code is there. Just put an indicator for how many zones are in that region, so that at any given time, I can go and see how many zones are in regions. This is critical for planning purposes. It is imperative that this change happens, and it should have happened a while ago. I don't understand how this is getting overlooked or just not talked about more. I honestly think it's one of the bigger deals with the game. Like, it is a pain to not have this information accessible at all times. This is a strategy game, and I want to strategize. Please let me. Oxide, give us zone information at any time. We need it. We need it. Okay. I closed out of that now. Let's go back to our settler, because we are going to look at how many zones are up here and where we might want to settle our city. So if we press the settle button, which we can do because we have a settler built and we have a city cap available, we're going to find out what we got going on up here. I think that might be a good spot. It's pretty close to his city, to be honest. It's not the best, but it's also, it's what, 1, 2, 3, it's about 4 territories away from Marsh, and that feels like this feels like a nice little spot. It gets us nice access to a couple of iron very quickly in our second ring, I guess, if you want to call it that. The other thing we could do is settle further over this way, but I feel like we could just put another city Like, eventually, I think what we do is we put this city here. We put another city over here to grab, like, this area, right? Eventually, I think that's what happens. If, of course, Italy forward settles into one of these spots, then it will force our hand. But at least we have 2 options. Like, this one or this one, it looks like, would be our best options. As we're looking at those pieces of the puzzle. So that will take approximately 6 turns. It's actually not bad. The roads are making that go quite a bit faster than it would otherwise go. So FYI, get your roads in. Roads do help as you get going in the game. So we've got that going for us. So settler is good. We could pop down here. The other thing I want to do is we were seeing, if we zoomed out, all these mountains over here. And we also know that India was at war with someone else. And so rather than, we could see land here, which is interesting. And we should really get some boats out into the water too. That should be something we maybe focus on. What I'd like to do is send this scout all the way around and see just what's going on over here. Oh, are we just going to get in the water? We have the capability of getting in the water. No, we don't. We don't yet. So we're not going to actually do... That path won't actually happen, but we'll see as the scout gets out there. We'll be able to figure that out. This spearman took a little bit of damage. Well, I could get, like, one more fight in, or we could just go... Let's see. We cleared everything down here? We have a tiger still down here that does need to be cleared. And there is, like, a wolf and some other stuff down here. So let's go ahead and pull... We'll pull the spearman back down to here. We'll heal him. We'll get rid of this tiger. That will take quite a few turns. We'll just get it. It's in a city center tile. We got to get rid of it so we have space to build the things we might want to build there, like the dwellings and such. So we'll go heal him up. We'll get rid of that, and then we'll keep him moving on some different hunts throughout the land. Our units are healing. This guy's just going to hang out. We'll just have him fortify for a little bit. And we have a new event. Man, okay. Well, look, our relationship with Mr. Beccaria is not bad. We have 11 grain stores, so we can certainly supply some grain stores. 20 relationship puts us a little higher. What it might get us access to is a research agreement, which could be very beneficial for us. I don't foresee that we're going to war with Italy anytime soon, so I think we can afford to do this. I don't think the -20 relationship is worth it, since we don't want to really anger him while we're planning to go to war with India, and because +5 health in all cities, while nice, I don't think it's going to be worth it in the long run if, like, we could just give him the grain stores, keep our relationship good, and honestly, we probably could refuse and just take the hit and grab that 5 health in all cities. It'd be nice. I'm feeling like maybe we just maintain this relationship, maybe even try to get that research agreement to boost our research up a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. All right, we got the settler off and running, and we got a couple cities probably that need to do some things. Let's try to recall what each of our cities was up to. We've got the docks in already. We've got some territories that are fully open. I think one of the things that we need to start thinking about right around this time in the game is, do we have the right stuff in? Do we have the right buildings? And we can start to scroll through and see, like, we don't have a single bakery. We don't have any blacksmiths yet. One of the reasons we don't have a blacksmith is because we don't have access to any iron to feed that blacksmith with, although we can feed it with other things. We only have one butcher shop. We have no ceramic shop. So these things start to enter your mind as potential question marks as you get going. Now, we have this territory here, which has the docks in it, has the workshop as well. And so we can put in some buildings here that would hopefully be production buildings. Remember, the the workshop gets us a 25% reduction on industry buildings that are getting built here. So if we build industry buildings, we can get those up and running quickly. So I think the idea of putting like a ceramic shop, a bakery, and just like getting some of those things up and running is important. So let's go ahead and slap a ceramic shop down to start. I'm also thinking ahead to wonder builds, and I know that pyramids specifically requires ceramic pots, and we do not have a ceramic shop crafting those pots right now. So that's probably something that we want to have as we're kind of moving in that direction. Okay. And we begin our move. We have our settler that is heading in that direction. I want to go check on... Okay. This path is kind of awkward. We might want to just move the scout. Let's move the scout to here. That way the pathing is more appropriate. They think they can cross right there? Can we get in the water now? No. I don't know why they... Oh, we can, because we can switch between these two. That makes more sense now. All right. My relationship with Italy has changed to trusted. Oh, we have a research agreement already. Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, there you go. We didn't have to give him those grain stores. We actually have a research agreement. We also have a trade agreement going. But we once again, do we just get that message? Yeah, because we're not even, okay, no, not, hold on. We're getting rope, and I'm fine with that. We're not getting a second thing. We have a merchant available again. Okay, so, I mean, honestly, metal ingots would be like the best thing to get. If we could get metal ingots, let's try to snag some metal ingots. I doubt that we'll end up getting very many of those, but, you know. Wedge Force sealed 60 points. Excellent. We have a couple craft queues that are empty. That is a workshop, so we want to check that out separately. And both of our workshops, actually. Okay, perfect. So we jump up. One of the problems that we have currently is that we only have 2 workshops. We just got a third online. One of them is just cranking metal tools, which is good. That's definitely what we want, right? So now we have to pick kind of what we want otherwise. I do want rope to be able to get access to pyramids. So I believe we need 10 rope for that. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and craft at least 7, like maybe 8 ropes. We have like an extra sitting around. And do we want to use wealth for that? We definitely have the wealth to be able to play for that. So we'll put wealth into that. We'll get 1 per 2. So that's not bad. That's a relatively quick build on those. So that will be workshop 2. And then workshop 3, it looks like we have extras of most things, which is a really nice place to be in. I'm not sure how we pulled that off with just the amount of workshops that we have. So let's grab a few furnitures if we can. It does cost us a substantial amount of timber if we want to do that because we don't have fabric. Although we can build them in 5 turns, and we don't need that many. I think if we build like 5 of these over the next like 25 turns, that will stock us up on furniture. And I think we're doing well on these other things. And we're going to be getting a couple more workshops online as well. So that will hopefully help. In fact, we just got this workshop online, right? And we're going to go right into docks in this city. That was the whole plan, right? We put the workshop here. Now we can put the docks in at that 25% reduction. So we will slap the docks down right here. And that will get us access to the other side of the water over there, which I think is going to be important to us as well. Oh, we also have cotton sitting right here. So I know we were going to push towards this rice, which I think we still should. But now that we know there's saffron and cotton right here, that's very tempting to take this with our next growth. The other thing we need to think about, and this is something that happens around this time in the game of Ara, when you hit level 9, right, you don't get a territory expansion, you just get an expert, although like, that may have changed with in this game, that's true. In the 1.2 patch, they changed how all of that works. I think you always get a territory expansion, and they've actually increased the number of territories the city can actually have in it. Again, check out the patch notes. There was a bazillion things that they changed. It was a really extensive patch that they did for the game just a couple days ago when I'm recording this. It'll be several weeks ago for you when you're watching it, but the game changed quite a bit with that patch. So if you haven't gotten into the game, or if you're getting back into the game, check out the patch. A lot of things are different. But at level 10, what I have found is that when you hit level 10, which we're going to hit in 3 turns, your food requirements for your city go up by a substantial amount. So right now we have plus 18 food based on population here. However, when we hit level 10, what my assumption is that we will see is a drastic uptick in the amount of food required by the city. This is something I've experienced in my other games of Ara, and so I'm assuming that will happen here as well. Now, we have 18 food, which I think will keep us where we want to be. We also need to start thinking about getting down a... we're at 9 of 11, so we have a little bit of time left, but we need to think about getting down dwelling as well to get our housing back up there. But you can see our quality of life stats are pretty even across the board. We're actually doing a good job of balancing our cities, which feels pretty good. So that's a nice feeling to have. A lot of times what will happen, at least to my cities, is I'll find that city health and city security in particular tend to be very, very low. So we've got a nice balanced approach so far for that, which feels pretty good. All right, let us roll to our next turn. Things are moving. We have researched hospitality and now have access to the inn, which is important. And we're gonna try to optimize our inn builds a little bit. This is something I've actually struggled with in previous games of Ara. The inn changed with patch 1.1, so a couple patches ago. the inn changed so that you can have one inn per city. It was one inn per nation for a little while. We should be... Oh, actually, you know what? That's going to be interesting to see. Let's find out. Did that change occur in our game? Yes. That change did occur in our game. So some stuff does and some stuff does. I haven't figured out the method behind the madness of what changes and what doesn't in a particular save file. We can build one inn per city, which is exciting because the inn is very important. And you can craft around an inn pretty nicely. Here's some of the big UI changes they made. So you can see they changed this icon so that this, the kind of government looking building thing here, that is nation limit. And the little city looking icon here is city limit. So you can tell just by looking at it if you could build, how many you could build in your nation or how many you could build in your city, whether the limit is on the nation or whether the limit is on the city. That's a really nice UI change feature. You'll also notice over here, they have put what type of building it is in a much larger kind of icon here, right? So here's an industry building, here's a commerce building, and they've also put kind of what the building does in a smaller kind of white icon down at the corner, right? These are harvesting buildings. These are craft buildings that are producing goods, right? So you can tell right away kind of what goes on in those things, which I think is really great. Like these are definitely good things, right? So we like these UI changes. They're nice because they're making it faster and easier to play the game. They're more obvious things. I love the fact that Oxide is doing these things. So Oxide's doing a great job kind of responding to player feedback, optimizing UI, making the game more functional, more playable, easier to understand, I think, and faster, because now you don't have to like check, you don't have to like hover over it and see like, oh, is that a city? Is that city or is that nation cap, right? I like all these changes. The UI stuff is very clean. So we do have access to the inn as well, which I think is, let's get the docks in and then we'll start talking about what we want to do with the inn. The biggest thing with the inn is when you put experts into the inn, you want them to be around buildings that are culture buildings, I believe, because the experts that go in benefit really greatly from that. And in fact, I don't even, it doesn't actually say that in the text. I'd love to click on the inn and find out exactly what it does. And yes, down here, you gotta look this up because it doesn't tell you right away. Slightly behind my head, it says expert slot 1. A +1 bonus wealth per turn for each commerce and culture improvement in this improvement's region, and provides +5 wealth per turn. So not only do you get 5 wealth per turn, you also get bonus wealth per culture or commerce improvement in the inn's region. So you want to put the inn in a region where you're going to stack commerce or culture improvements in order to maximize the goods you're going to get out of that. That is something to keep in mind because, again, you wouldn't know that just by looking at the text, but the expert slots are important to consider. That's a pretty potent expert slot, so we're going to want kind of our own territory for the inn to then dedicate the zones in that territory to commerce and culture improvements to maximize our gold gains, our money gains at that particular inn, which makes sense, right? You put it in somewhere where people want to go shop or somewhere where people want to go visit. I love that. That kind of logic within the game, that's the kind of thing I love to see in a 4X strategy game. All right, our wedges are all healed now. We have some idle units. This wedge is idle, and what I really want to do is get a feel for, let's get a little feel for what's going on in India, you know? We'll leave this guy here fortified for a little while. We'll kind of look around a little bit just to see what's happening. And we need to choose our next research as well. Now, we're going to research just about everything in the Iron Age. I don't feel like there's a reason to skip text here necessarily. Look, the mint in particular is a nice add just to get that cranking. Great Lighthouse is actually a decent wonder, and we can think about building this actually. We need more metal tools, and the pots are going to compete with pyramids, but we can think about building that as well. Also gets us access to the long ships. We can build like upgraded ships, so we don't have to start out with the most basic ships, I believe. So that's something to think about. Looms also benefit some of our buildings, and so we'll want to get access to that as well. I think what I'm going to do, as we approach a potential golden age, I think all of these will get researched before we hit our next golden. But what I'm going to do is try to leave cultural heritage on the board for as long as possible, just to see if we can snag that 25 in a golden. I don't think it will happen, but I don't think we need access to like many of these things. I think we might go like textiles first. Honestly, we might even go navigation first, just because it's worth no prestige, and then just in case our golden comes faster than we anticipated. So, okay, let's get off and running. We got tools. We've got a ceramic shop that is in. So our ceramic shop, our first ceramic shop. Actually, technically it's our second ceramic shop. Our original ceramic shop got burnt down from our other city, right? So, because how do we know that? We already had a policy in place for it. So this is a ceramic shop that is now back again, I guess is what you could say. We can afford a material on this. And honestly, we can afford the 5 wealth as well. So let's just start cranking pots at a really high rate out of this ceramic shop. We're just poking around. Just kind of moving around. We don't want to go too far, although they can't declare war on us, so I'm not like overly concerned with that. All right, we have hit level 10 in our capital city, and you will immediately notice, right? I mentioned we were at plus 18 food. We are now only at plus 3 food. City tier 10 signifies what I have noticed to be a jump in the food requirements in any given city. When you get to 10, that food requirement really goes up. And so we were lucky that we had 18 surplus food in this city. So we're not negative in this city, but my goodness, like we're like right there, right? That costs a ton of food to move up to that level. So now we're at 10 of 11, 15 turns. So after this docks gets in, we want to get that dwelling down. And all of those things. So that's kind of in our future as we start to think about those things. But we get to expand in this city as well. We also get another expert. When the docks go in, this expert will be going into the docks. So that's something that we will do, like when we get there. I think for now, what we can actually do is go ahead and put it in our this new workshop that we have. We'll just get the workshop working as quickly as possible. It gets 150% production bonus, so it's a really big difference when you put an expert into those crafters. So again, just something to think about for that, but we do want to move them into the docks at some point. And then for expansion, we have to make our choice now, because we have to choose to continue to try to go after this rice, or we can go and grab this cotton and saffron. And so I think what I want to do is let's take a look at our existing grain. What is our grain per turn? We are producing 2.1 grain per turn and consuming 2 per turn, and we're kind of holding off on things with grain, so it's not bad. We're not going to get access to this, and we are going to get more grain though when this farm is complete. So we don't have to have that grain right away. We could possibly hold off on that grain, because we're going to get more grain once we get this on board as well. It's a tough choice. I do think that grain is really important. I'd love to get this cotton online, though, because cotton would allow us to do a lot of stuff as well. So would the saffron. I think I'm going to go up here first now. I think this territory has become very valuable. So I'm gonna click that, make that decision. Just gets us access to some really nice things from that standpoint. Although, again, we're not going to put a boost on it for like a second, but because that farm is about to go in and make our grain production go up, I think we're okay. Okay, did Nessa finally finish their monument? Weren't they supposed to be building a monument? Did we never put the monument down? Why do we have a monument sitting here that hasn't been built? I swear we put that to be built. Yeah, did we not build this? We did not. Or if we did, it was in our other city. Oh, did we? Had we queued that up in our city that got burnt down? No, sorry. We were going to build it here. I recall now. We needed a dwelling, right? We had to put the dwelling in. And so now we can monument. I think monument is the play here. We're good on that. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to put the monument in this city. We already knew that. And I want to see what it looks like. We put it on this big one or this small one? I feel like we put it in this small one right here. The big one kind of, that would look better as a dwelling, I feel like. So we'll put the monument here. We definitely want to get that done. That gets us +1 prestige per turn. Just straight up, monuments are prestige per turn when in your city center, right? We want to make sure it's in our city center. We get that. Monument, palace, dwelling. That's the, there is another one later on in the game, I believe. But monument, palace, dwelling early on is what you're putting in your city center. Okay. And we move along. Region claimed. We've got that added into our empire. We have a farm that is completed. So that, there goes that grain. So let's see where our grain production went to, right? We're at 2.1. We're at 2.1 grain production. And we are now at 2.4. So it doesn't go up by much. Probably gonna need to get more grain online. But that's okay. We're okay in a way. We're a little show of force. We're gonna walk around a little bit here just to see you know, what's up in this area. I don't want to get too far away, but I just want to poke around and see what's going on. So we'll move them like over here. Okay. Got a new population milestone in Neza. Neza now has food. Yeah, Neza moved to 10, and now Neza has food problems. And what you'll notice is, despite the fact that we have a food surplus in the Empire, we have a food deficit in this city, and so therefore our growth stagnates. I don't love this necessarily. I have 66 surplus food in my empire and 6.1 thousand food stored away in our storage. How a city's population can stagnate when they're just not producing enough food, I really think there needs to be a mechanic where the city can like reach into the coffers of the nation and borrow food from like the 6.1, like what else are we using the 6.1 thousand food for? Like the fact that we have a city that is stagnating due to food when we have 6.1 thousand food sitting in storage, I don't understand that functionality. So I wouldn't mind a change in that. I know they're trying to limit how quickly you can grow a city, but I don't, why am I storing food then in the first place? Maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe the game just doesn't reward that, right? So now we have a choice because we're building the monument, but what we actually need to do is keep growth going, and so what we want is more food. Now, benefit to us, we have a claim, and with -2 food, we could probably take care of getting some more food out with that claim alone, right? And we could get at least growth started without having to build a farm. We'll have to build a farm as we get going here, but I think we can work with that for now. So when we claim a territory, we're going to kind of want to claim something that has a lot of food, basically, is what we're saying. So we've got a lot of options for that. We have food down here. We have food and pigs up here, but that's only a 3 territory. So I really wouldn't mind just taking Lyon now and just getting that, just to get the 4 food, I think would be beneficial. This also could potentially be like an inn placement for us. Like we could put an inn here and then stack some culture buildings. I actually wouldn't mind that at all. I think that would be kind of cool. So that might be what we do in Lyon. So let's claim Lyon. That, again, maybe that was an aesthetic choice more than anything. But I think that's a nice decision for us from a food standpoint. And so what's going to happen, right, is we're at -2 food, but as soon as that gets added in, we're getting 4 food just from the territory. And so we'll be in positive food and we won't be stagnating our growth anymore there. So we can go ahead and do that. We have 6 experts available and we've like run out of spots to put them. We're like darn full. I have no problem putting this in get those ceramic pots out a little bit faster. That works for me. And we'll go to next turn. We actually we probably need to put a stables in this city because we're gonna need to start producing carriages a bit faster. Do we have a stables anywhere? Yeah, we have a stables. No, we don't have I don't think we have a stables at all yet. That's probably negligent on our part. So we'll have to get a stables in at some point too. Been busy crafting military. We've fallen a little behind on our buildings, I feel like. Many things have been built. A couple of units are idle. This guy was going to heal, so we'll just heal him all the way. Actually, how much health does he have? Because we could do like a single hunt. No, we can't. Can't do a hunt because, oh no, because 40, yeah, we could lose 40 hit points. So we could do 1 hunt and then heal him all the way and then do the 2 hunts and then heal him back up again. So that actually works. So let's do 1 hunt. We got to make sure we pull him off that hunt though after this because otherwise he will die. So let's go with that. This guy is still poking around. There is, okay, so we're getting an idea of what India is building up. So they have a line group, which is like it's a battalion, and they have a straight battalion. So they have 2 full stacks there, which is worth a lot, and they are sending out another settler. So they are going to attempt to forward settle into me again. I wish I could just... I can't go to war with them right now. Otherwise, I would just attack this unit. Well, it gives us another city to burn down, I suppose. So it looks like we're going to need a slightly larger military force. Now, we have to keep in mind that there are caps on military forces, right? We are currently at 4 of 5 on our military forces. So we can only put 1 more force out into the battlefield. We can only muster one more structure of units. So we're gonna want to do that and probably make it like a square formation or something like that, a phalanx maybe even, I'm not sure, to make sure we get as many units out as we can, as much of that strength as we can. The other thing we could do is we could disband our spearmen, because our spearmen is technically taking up one of our military forces cap, which is something we could think about doing, or just redeploying that spearman out with an army or something like that. So another possible opportunity to get an extra battalion out, an extra group of soldiers out, rather than just a single soldier that's out there. All right, we're poking around Delhi, getting an idea of what's going on. We might want to... Well, we're going to see Beirut as well, right? This scout is going to have us see Beirut. And so we'll get to see kind of what's going on with India here. We have access to the lighthouse. There, like, look at Delhi claiming all the way down into this land. What are you doing? I mean, I guess that's actually not okay, to be honest, because it's causing, this city is gonna get, like, this city was supposed to claim this land, right? And so now Delhi is claiming it, and so that becomes problematic. Where did their settler go? Their settler was over here, so they must be deciding to settle down in here this time, which is much more acceptable. It's what they should have done in the first place anyway. Let's grab textiles. We are crafting things. The dock is done, and with that, we want to reassign our expert. What do we want to reassign our expert from? Oh, the grain is fine. The granary is fine. That's fine. I want him in there, and I want him in that one. I think I'll pull it from we'll pull this expert. Put them in the docks. All right, we got that part of it done. We have a dwelling that has been completed up in this city, which is, I don't know, did they need a dwelling? I can't remember. We must have just forgot to put them on something else. Oh, they got their farm in and then they were building that dwelling, so that's fine. I think we want to put a mine on this copper, actually. It's probably the next thing for that city. Spearman lost 40 health while hunting a tiger. Nice. All right, so Mr. Spearman, now go ahead and you're 5 health from death. Fine, we'll get you healed up. All right, so yeah, they've got, here's their line: swordsman, archer, spearman, and here's their battalion: archer, archer, swordsman. It's not in a wedge, interestingly enough, so they're not choosing to use the wedge on that. It's just a straight battalion, and they're choosing to use a line formation on this one, but they're not bad. Those are not bad little armies that he's putting out, so we do want to be aware of that. We'll kind of just circle around and then come back and form kind of a line and then be prepared to see what's happening. All right, our settlers reached their spot. We have a battalion from Italy, but again, we have a pretty good relationship with Italy, and I think we just get the city down. It looks like we could just settle this right here, and I'm okay with this placement. It's a little tight, to be honest. It's a little tight between the Italian cities, but if we're planning on getting rid of the Italian cities or something like that, I think this is a good starting point for us to put a city down. So let's just get it down. We could go over here. Arguably, if we were going to take both of these Italian cities, we could definitely go over here. It's tempting, but I think I'm just going to go here because it gets me access to iron faster, essentially. So let's go ahead and put our gathering hall. I like to put the gathering hall in like a smaller one. This is a really tiny one right here. Perfect. Got our city down. Germany has sent us a gift. Our first gift from the AI changes coming through. Look at that. 2 decorative vases. Not bad. Not the greatest gift. I accept, of course. That'll move our relationship up. I like that Germany's sending us gifts because that means we have the possibility of a good relationship with Germany throughout the game. The dock's in. We do need to get a dwelling in. So we have to go dwelling here next, and then we can start playing around with what we want for our next kind of strategy. It's our last dwelling before we have to replace our workshop. So there we go. Our last open spot in the capital. We'll get that in to make sure we have that. And again, what you'll notice is our food has gone. Our food has gone. Oh no, sorry, our food was good here. So our food is good in Mexico. And then what we can see in Neza, yeah, we were -2. Now we are +2 and growing, right? Which is really nice. All you have to do is be in the positive, apparently, to grow a city. Still not quite sure I love that whole scenario, but we'll see. We have a lot of farms we can put in Neza. Neza focused on some other things during the opening turn, so Neza's got plenty of improvements to make and farms to put down. So I'm not too concerned about that. I think they'll be fine as we go. Marsh is also ready to build more things, and I think I want to get this copper deposit online, because I don't think we're getting much copper, and I think it would be good to have that. So let's get a stone pit on the copper, and we'll call that good. We have the cocoa that we could do. We also have llamas we could do. This is just pieces to think about. Oh, and what we want to do is we want to change our expert, right? We want our expert no longer to be here. We want the expert for sure to be on the farm to get us the extra grain, right? That's I think a good choice as well. We want to keep an eye on those experts too. We actually think about that in New Borhula as well. In fact, when we grabbed this, we didn't get anything that we can put down. So they're still building their dwelling technically, which is going to be finished in a turn. So we might as well just let them do that, right? Okay. We'll just let that fly. All right. City founded. There it is. City of Messina. Right, we're founding Italian cities now based on the names of the territories. I also think they should change that. This is little tiny things, but I love that the territories get the names of the people who explored them and discovered them. I think that's fine. But I think when you put a city down, it should take a name from your empire. It shouldn't just take on the name of the territory. I think if you put a city down, even if it's somebody else's area, I think it should take on your nation's city names. Personal preference maybe, but that's how I would choose to do it. While we're here, we might as well do all of our things. Let's get them a feast. Let's put their expert in, which we no longer get to do with Benito in any game after this, because that has been nerfed away. But we still get to do it in this game, which is pretty crazy good still. We will once again, as always, go right into dwelling. Ooh, hold up. Dwelling is a commerce building. I don't know if I had realized that dwelling is considered a commerce building now. So the dwellings could be something that you stack around an inn. That's actually intriguing. That could craft a strategy. That's a pretty nice strategy to keep in mind. So when you pick a territory for your inn, maybe that just becomes your extra dwelling area. Whenever you need another dwelling outside of your city center, it just goes with the inn because it benefits the inn. Because the dwelling doesn't benefit anything else, right? Unless it's in your city center. So once you've run out of city center spots for a dwelling, stacking them with an inn would make a ton of sense. Interesting. That's an interesting thought. I kind of like that idea. Okay. We'll put the dwelling down. Arguably, we're going to switch off that dwelling to, when they grow, we're going to switch to a stone pit on whichever, I grow this direction first, because that gets us possible access over here if we need it. We'll have to see where this city grows, because if they push for the iron over here, then we want to grab that, but we also just want to stretch out and grab as much of the iron as we can. We're basically just going to beeline for this, and this. Like, we just want all the iron, and then we'll worry about other things in this city. And at that point, we also need to get our blacksmiths going as well. Dwelling complete, gathering hall complete, we already dealt with that. Spearman is healing, we know that, and we have our forces that are moving around. I'm gonna just push down this way now. Just see what's happening. We'll send this guy, you know what, no, I'm gonna send this guy back around again. Population milestone in Marsh. Speaking of Marsh, they are expanding, and now we didn't get access to this. Do we want access to the cocoa? I feel like we might want to just claim this as like just to form that border. We also want to claim a coast territory to put our docks in for sure. But I think the most valuable claim is just to get access to this cocoa. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. It's a 5 territory as well. So let's cut them off there. Arguably, they might not be able to do that, but that's fine. Like, we'll roll. We'll roll to that. I think that's probably our best bet. And that way we can continue to kind of create a border for this city, just in case there's other, cities up in here, which doesn't look like there are. Milano is stretched all the way out here. Again, seeing the importance of grain, right? Grain all the way over there, and the capital of Italy was like, yes, we need that, and they crossed all the way over to try to get it, right? All right, we have a couple empty craft queues. So let's take a look. We're crafting. We need some more feasts, actually, technically speaking. So let's go ahead and grab some more feasts. Yeah, we'll go. Give me like 5 more. I like to stock up on feasts because after this age, the feast actually becomes obsolete. You could use the feast as an amenity, but you cannot craft them anymore. So the more you have, the more you can keep in for a long while you're trying to stockpile other things like the gourmet meals that comes from the inn and stuff like that. So I think that would set, so we got plenty of feasts being made. We have enough code of laws being made. So we could set someone off on making codexes or making these codex stratagems, or even possibly some jewelry. I don't think we have any, we still don't have any. Technically we have a couple boosts, but which wouldn't be worth it. So let's scrap the idea of that. Maybe we access some codexes. What do we spend to get some codexes? We could spend a couple of wealth. Then another 5 wealth again. What if we craft like? Give me like a couple of these. Not too many. Like it takes a lot of turns to build them. We could maybe even just build one just to have it on hand in case we need it for something. I don't know. Italy would like an alliance. Done. I'll ally with Italy for now. I know we want to go to war with Italy at some point, but I like the fact that they're being super friendly with us. Let's just see how everything shakes out with India, and then we can consider what to do about Italy. That's my current line of thinking. New Coahuila is ready to build. They got this down. I think we lost a granary. And so I think we could use a granary and farms. This is a nice one for farms. It's got the 4 in it. So I think we go, you know what the plan was though, is this one was supposed to be that because it was already gonna have a farm in it. So maybe we go back to the idea of a workshop here and then putting down, I think that's the idea. Let's go workshop because I want more workshops online. So we'll go workshop and then industrial buildings in that particular zone. Because I think this cattle is like a 5 zone as well, so we could do like the granary over there when we need to. All right, next turn. We're at turn 107. Region claimed. Extending out. We actually got some interesting information now about how the capital or how our original continent kind of shapes up. We're now allied with Italy. Don't have to worry about that fight so much anymore. Where did their settler go? Callion has improved, and I feel like we have to take this. This is the most valuable territory, right? So we just grab that, try to keep access to something over here. We also have another expert. Oh, and arguably we should pull the expert out of this. Probably. We got docks in a turn, so it doesn't really matter all that much. We'll probably switch that guy out. We'll probably pull this guy out to do the docks when the docks are done. And new Coahuila is growing, and this is where we have to start making a critical decision. Let's slap in the grain store here. We have to make a decision about, do we slide down here to these grapes in order to cut off Zico a little bit more? Where's Zico? Because they could grab the grapes for sure. I mean, the grapes aren't super valuable, but they're not pushing in this direction. And as long as they don't claim this, which we don't, this is fine. They can claim that if they want to. We want access to this and this, right? That's what we had before. In fact, you can even see the ruins of our buildings. They're all here still. Sad. Our sadly burnt down city. We want access to these. But I feel like if we went over here, we could start to cut off. It's not a really valuable territory, though. We'd just be like cutting him off for the sake of cutting him off. Which is not the worst idea, actually. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it just to do it. Just to form just to get this city kind of controlled. We're trying to control our allies' growth now, essentially. We'll do the same thing, right? We'll kind of claim around here the valuable territories and just get this city contained into like the corner, kind of nicely. That'll be our goal, I think. So lots of territory left to claim for this city, so we'll stick with that for now. Feels like an odd choice, but also got to remember when can we declare war, and then we need to get that other army out in that period of time as well, right? A couple regions claimed. That feels good. A bunch of crafting stuff done again. The monument is done. That feels good. So we've got our monument. We're getting our bonus prestige now. That is good. We got a new dwelling down. We got another new dwelling down. Oh, sorry, one dwelling and then the docks. So the docks we want to immediately click on so that we remember to go into the city and adjust this. I want to pull that out. I want to put them in the docks to get that 20% a modifier from 10. Again, that has been knocked down. The docks got nerfed to 15% in the last patch, actually in 1.1 patch. Spearman is getting healed up. Technically, we could just run another hunt and see if we get him, but we'll wait till he's fully healed. All right, our scout is sitting here. Now we can't enter his land, so we have to spin around this way now. The AI, when you tell them to do things, doesn't read this as not land, but it's not land, right? We know that you can't cross there, but the AI sometimes thinks they can. Ah, there's their new city. That is not particularly surprising, so Dadra taking the place of New Agra, which we burnt down. Dadra down in the corner. Like, this is acceptable. If this is where they would have settled before, maybe we would not have had such a large problem. I mean, they burnt down my city, to be honest, so they had it coming, and they still have it coming, to be honest. Look at this. Look at Italy claiming around to the meteorite and encroaching now on Delhi's territory. This is a nice city placement. I wouldn't mind keeping this city, except for now that we have this one. We'll have to see what happens. We get a new religious verse. That's nice. Right now we have Monument to Eternity, +6 timber per turn, which is awesome, and +3 craft production in your capital for each region within it. That is a nice one as well. Let's see. RNG time. What verses do we get to select from? All right, here we go. Mulct. That's 5% tax income per turn. 5% is not bad. We got inspiration, option for inspiration again, -25 research cost of science text. We already kind of know that's not awesome. And we get 5% force experience from defeating enemy forces. We are going to go to war. I don't really feel the need to like push that. I think Mulct is probably the option here, +5% tax income per turn. That's going to boost our gold. I'm interested to see how much it boosts our gold. So we're at 62 per turn. So let's take Mulct and we'll see where that goes. 66. So that was worth 4 gold per turn. And that will go up as our, because it's a percent, right? So the more tax that we have, the more percent that will go up. I don't mind that at all. That feels okay. Let's check our global religions. Madness is spreading far and wide. Now, Germany does have a religion. They are on our continent up there too. So we want to actually make sure we keep our religion pressure up just to make sure we get as many of those verses as we can get. We have an idle city. Our capital is idle. And so that means we have the dock in. So we need to prep for possibly a double. We need a bunch of pots, though, because the lighthouse costs 5, so we need more pots. I would love to try to pull off another double wonder build in our next golden. Great lighthouse, maybe in Neza, and then pyramids in the capital. That would be really good. We're growing in 3. Let's check our golden. Yeah, let's prep for that when we go to try to claim. We'll see if we can find a pyramids claim in the capital, and we'll see if we can find a great lighthouse claim in Neza. And in fact, it sucks to put, this is a 4 zone, so it kind of sucks to put a wonder on there. But that potentially could be great lighthouse. We could also do, like, if one of these is more appropriate. In fact, I know this one is, right? If we claimed out to here, we could put the pyramids on this one. It's a 2, I believe. Again, if I had access to that information, we could actually see. That would make Neza, we could put the pyramids here for Neza, and then Mexico City could find a spot to place the Great Lighthouse if we can get a coastal tile somewhere. Ugh, it's gonna be a tough claim to find that coastal tile. We'll have to play around with that when we get there, when we get to those city claims and try to figure out where we're gonna put that stuff. Okay, so we can get our inn down. That would be valuable. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 territories here, and this would be a nice little spot for an inn. So let's plop our inn down, because we know we want one. We also need a stables, too. Let's plop our inn down here. Here or here? Right next to Nemrut Dog. I mean, that feels good, right? And then we could build buildings around that in that territory. And Neza also needs to build another thing. And we could do the same thing here in Neza. Now, we can start to think about, right, let's not build in here in case we want to do something with that. This one also is wide open. And this one is also wide open. I mean, Neza's wide open just straight up. It also increases harvest production towards animal resource nodes in the city. And we do have a lot of animal resource nodes in this city. So I think we can put a stable in. We can put it in right here, right? We're just kind of building buildings here. Let's put the stables in here with the docks. That's going to be a 25% reduction because we're putting it with the workshop. Now, I think stables and docks are nice to go together because neither of them benefit from anything, right? The stables and the docks are just stables and docks. And what we could do is we could put another ceramic shop here as well because ceramic shops boost themselves. So we could go like ceramic shop, and be cranking stuff out of that particular territory. Those are the things you want to think about is like, how much do I just want buildings out to be able to build stuff? And how much do I want to cluster those buildings together? I think with weavers and tanneries, you want to cluster them, right? You only get 3 per empire. So you always want to cluster your tanneries and your weavers. You can see weavers down here as well, 3 per empire. But when you have like 8 per empire, like with the fermenting pit or like what we were just talking about, right? The ceramic shop, we get 8 ceramic shops per empire. I think if you spread those ceramic shops out a little bit and then make sure you have one that's like a clustered group to really crank out of, like later, I think that's fine. I kind of do the same thing with like the butcher shops and the bakeries. Like, yeah, they benefit from being next to each other. Apothecaries are the same way. And so you want to play around with that a little bit, right? How much do you want to just spread them out in the cities to get the different bonuses in the cities? Make sure you have enough of them crafting things. How much do you want to take them and cluster them together because they benefit each other from a production standpoint? They get like a 25% boost of production if they're next to or if they're in the same territory, right, as one of the same building. Put a ceramic shop next to a ceramic shop, you get that bonus. And then if you put another ceramic shop, you get that bonus stacked again. So I think there's options there, right? What I do think we should probably do in Callion is just start putting farms in. Let's get I think cattle are very useful. I mean, I think we just start... I want to start improving stuff in the city. The city has grown really fast. Let's grab cattle. I know we have some cattle already. We could put an irrigated farm on that, actually. I'm not opposed to that. We might as well, if we're building it fresh, we'll build irrigated. Because we have the tools to do it. We'll put an irrigated farm down on the cattle. We should have probably looked at which one we needed, but that's okay. Okay. That, I think, will do it for this episode. We've got another 10 turns. We're progressing slowly but surely. I do think we're gonna continue to play like a little bit faster. I say that all the time. I don't actually end up doing it, but hopefully we can continue to play a little quicker. And stay tuned because for future episodes in this particular Let's Play series, normally I release the episodes on Sundays. I may start dropping 2 episodes a week if I can pull it off during the month of January. So just stay tuned. If I can, it just depends on kind of timing in my life. If I can get 2 episodes recorded and edited, I might start dropping 2 episodes in a week just for the month of January. The whole purpose for that was Civilization 7 launches, the early access, it's not early access, the early release, if you buy one of the Deluxe or Founders Editions, launches on February 6th. And I do want to launch into Civ 7 content. We'll immediately be launching into Civ 7 content on the Twitch channel at twitch.tv/madishmoose. But I also want to launch in eventually to Civ 7 content here on the YouTube channel as well. So we'll be doing a Let's Play series very similar to this with Civilization 7, and we'll see where that takes us. But we're going to finish this Let's Play first, but I also want to make sure that we're timely in our Civ 7 series. So stay tuned. There might be additional episodes coming out, possibly on Thursdays. We'll see how it all works out. But until that time happens, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you know when we release these episodes. Hit that notification button because there might be extra episodes coming out. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.